Produced by Podcast Architects.
All right, what's going on, guys? I am joined by my friend and coworker Randall. My name is Jake Gose, and this is the Podcast Architects YouTube channel. Today, we just kind of want to talk about the industry as podcasting as a whole. We have been making some training videos, just for not really training videos, but kind of tutorial videos for people who might want to be getting into production. So Randall hasn't been doing production for that long. He's kind of just joined the team about a month ago. He was on Isaiah's podcast, the Untitled Podcast, which is pretty cool. Isaiah is a salesman here in PA, so I'm happy to have him here with me. This is not a hit the gas kind of episode or anything like that. This is kind of a Podcast Architects channel thing. How are you doing, Randall?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah, me too, man. So what's something that you kind of look forward to or are excited about within the podcasting industry? Do you think it's going to get bigger, smaller? What direction do you think it's going to take?
Well, I honestly think it's going up. Mm-hmm. If you're looking at, I don't know how many people are into like price charts and statistics, but up and to the right is a common kind of analogy that we say. That means it's going up. And I think it's going to be super cool to see how things, really further develop throughout this decade in the coming years. Everyone and their grandma is getting on social media, so it's definitely getting adopted pretty quickly, and I think as people get more aware, they're going to further become viewers or, podcast producers themselves.
Yeah. Let me ask you a little bit more of a serious question. So with all the media that's out there today and how much people are consuming all this different media, do you think that it's negatively impacting maybe kids' brains? Or, I'll take myself for example. I will be driving with a podcast on or music, or I'll be working with music on. And then I'll watch TV or YouTube until I go to sleep. Do you think that negatively impacts the brain, and how do you think that's going to affect this next coming generation? It's
a great question. So I think that it is kind of what you make of it. It's a tool. Podcasts they can be a tool or entertainment or, bad things for you to consume. So kind of like with music choice, you listen to a certain musical artist and that's kind of the song that's stuck in your head all day. So depending on what that message is in the song, it's probably going to have an effect on your mentality and your thoughts.
Totally.
So with podcasting, whatever you decide to listen to, that's going to be kind of what gets soaked into your brain. And so I think people need to choose wisely of what they decide to listen to, what they decide to consume. Like they say, you are what you eat. If you eat healthy, intake healthy things, you more than likely will be healthy. And if you intake unhealthy things, then that will reflect as well.
It's it's very insightful, I think. That's great.
What do you think? I'll ask you the same thing.
Shoot, dude, I don't even know what I think. I think that people aren't bored anymore, and that is why we don't really invent any cool stuff anymore. We still make cool stuff, but I can't remember the last time I was bored,
Yeah, right?
I'm always on my phone.
Yeah.
If I'm, maybe we're at a shoot or whatever, and I'm waiting for an episode to be over, I'll just hop on Instagram or whatever.
There's always something to find.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous to never let your mind rest. So, and I know kids who will go to sleep with AirPods in their ears, listen to music while they're asleep. That can't be good for your brain. So, I think what you're saying is true as far as, what you intake is what you're going to be like. And I've definitely noticed that, if you read a lot of depressing books, then you're probably going to be depressed. So, do you think that the podcasting industry will be bigger than maybe the movie or TV show industry?
That's a great question. I think that the movie industry, Hollywood, is probably going to remain on top. at least for a good while, simply because of all of the power that's associated with Hollywood
Sure.
and all the money that's in that industry. Podcasting is kind of like a for the people type of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
We the people kind of make our podcasts, and then Hollywood makes the movies. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, I mean, not to get political, but yeah, the politics within Hollywood are pretty messed up, and yeah, people aren't able to share what they actually believe.
There's a lot of
times.
scripting, right?
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, as they say, people that go against what they are told to kind of get squeezed out, you know, of the industry.
Yeah.
And even it gets deeper than that, but that's that's the surface level of what I've heard.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm sure everyone on here's heard many conspiracy theories about Hollywood, so I know I have. So,
What do you think it's going to take for podcasting, the industry, to kind of get mainstream acceptance and adoption?
well, don't you think it's already kind of mainstream? I mean, with Joe Rogan and all
Yeah,
that.
it is. It's getting there, but there's still quite a few people that are like, podcasting, really?
Yeah. I think what needs to happen is just the same way that websites were a novelty in the early 2000s and late 90s, a little bit before my time. I was born in 2003, so I can't really speak on this, but I do know that they were a novelty and they were not popular. And now, if you don't have a website, you don't have a business. I think that if you don't have a podcast, you're not going to have a business within the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Just something, so, I mean, you know, if you're a mechanic shop or like a clothing company or something like that, maybe you don't need a podcast because you don't, like, maybe if your clothing company, like, has a broader story to it. But, like, if you're just selling clothes and that's all you like to do is sell clothes, there's not really a story there. But if you have maybe like biopharmaceutical companies or education, like universities or something like that, I think that, yeah, a podcast would be super helpful, and people love to consume things, man. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I think that's just the next step that podcasting itself is going to take.
We're kind of getting over that wall into the unknown territory of podcasting kind of being like the thing.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think like YouTubers and other people like Good Mythical Morning, you know, they're not really a podcast, but they're just two dudes sitting there and talking about like random stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that blew up. I think that kind of also helped the podcasting industry just kind of take that next step to where it is now. But yeah, it definitely won't always be a novelty, and it still isn't really. I mean, everyone and their mom has a podcast, so including mine.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
She's on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she asked me to help her. I was like, I'm kind of busy.
Yeah. Very, very understandable.
Yeah, 100%, man. Do you think, so, you know, you've recently joined the company. I want to kind of get your thoughts on Podcast Architects as a whole. Where do you think we're going? And do you think we're kind of making the right kind of progress?
It's a great question. I'm new. I don't have an answer. Just kidding. Yeah, man. Being a part of this team for a little bit over a month now has been, you know, just super, super cool. The industry is amazing. It's just really, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to contribute. So I'm grateful to be able to kind of be in that spot to contribute to the industry and probably the future of business as well.
Oh, yeah.
And working with the team, you and everyone has been awesome. You guys are all like just super nice, helpful, and hardworking people. So yeah, I mean, I think the team at Podcast Architects is amazing. All kinds of different people from all, you know, walks of life are here to help kind of, in a way, start the next generation of business. That's kind of how I see this whole podcasting thing to be.
Yeah.
This is kind of like the early stages of the internet. It's like, okay, this seems cool, but you know, I don't know a whole lot about it. You know, the internet crashed for a while. The the .com bubble, Amazon lost like 90% of their worth. I think something like that.
Yeah.
Don't fact check me. But kind of like with podcasting, it's kind of like the wild, wild west. You know, we are semi-early in this industry, and I think that with the team that we have, everyone here contributing in so much, and genuinely wanting to help others share their story, I think things are going to be a lot of fun, to put it simply, over 100%. The next several years.
100%, man. Yeah. And for those of y'all who don't know, we produce and make other companies' podcasts. So we do start to finish. You know, we'll edit it. First of all, we'll come here. We'll come to wherever you are, and we'll set up all the mics, the cameras, the lights. And if you don't have a host, we'll provide you a host. All you have to do is have a subject, have a person to talk to, and that's it. We'll do everything else. We'll make your thumbnails for you, your graphics. So, you know, like Randall was saying, you know, we are here to help you share your voice in the best way possible. And what we believe is that the best way possible is podcasting. So
it's just super easy to gain traction on a podcast, you know. It's like the way I kind of picture is like the old way of advertising was, you know, newspapers, you pay for your newspaper article for the day, and it's like everyone in your town maybe sees it. With podcasting, you set it up, you put it out there on the internet, and then kind of like the snowball effect, one person clicks and then 5 people click, and now 50, you know, it gains traction as it's out there, and it's kind of like, it kind of does it to itself. It's like a self-growing organism almost.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's a weird way to put it, but it's amazing how the internet and the viewership just works together.
100%.
To make sharing a message probably easier than it's ever been.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, storytelling's been around for thousands of years, and now we're just showcasing it. We're packaging it and we're distributing it, and yeah, people love having conversations, man, and listening to them, and yeah, I'm excited for the future for PA and just the future of podcasting. So one last question for you, and then I'll let you go. But would you start your own podcast, and like what would it be about?
I think it would be cool to have my own podcast. Like you said a little bit ago, I'm just super busy, so it seems hard to set aside time to kind of starting something new. But at some point, I think it would be really cool to have my own podcast, kind of like some of my life experiences and the wisdom I've learned over the years, probably a little bit further into my career than where I'm at now. It would, I think at the moment, it would probably be if I were to have some sort of like self-help, self-betterment, improvement sort of theme. I've always been really into exercising, taking care of my health, you know, being outdoors, reading, learning all sorts of new things, trying new things, just sort of trying to really create the life that I really want to live. And I think it would be cool to share some of the things I've learned that have worked for me and kind of the people around me that may be helpful to other people as well, or kind of guide them in a certain direction or open their mind in a certain way that they may not have thought about thinking before.
Yeah.
So something I think in that niche would be where I would take it if I did.
Yeah, 100%.
What kind of podcast do you think you'd have if you did have one?
Well, I have two, kind of. So,
tell me about
it.
Yeah.
Well, I have one called Straighten Up. That's on my personal YouTube channel called Scoliosis Athletics, and that's about people who have scoliosis and they still want to persevere. I have scoliosis myself. I have 2 60-degree curves in my back, and I've been dealing with that pain since I was about 13 years old. Till now, I'm 20. And so I looked, you know, whenever I was 13, 14 for YouTube videos on how to work out and be athletic with this condition. I couldn't find anything. And so I decided, you know, I wanted to encourage other kids who were like me, who wanted to still have a life and wanted to not let this affect them athletically or just within their life, and just push through. So I've started that myself, and so I've been steadily gaining subscribers. And then I have an internal show with PA called Hit the Gas. That's on this YouTube channel, and you should go check it out. So yeah, having podcasts is like great. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man.
Thanks.
That is super cool that you're doing that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Like the video and subscribe to the channel, please. And leave a comment. And if you have any questions or concerns, leave a comment. If you want to be in contact with our sales team, go to our website at podconsulting.co, and we'll get your show started as soon as possible. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Produced by Podcast Architects.